Greetings. My name is Anthony Michell. Some people know me as Anthony Taiwo, Anthony Barron. And I am an Afro-Latin, African percussionist. Okay, by the way, of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am a second generation musician, as well as teachers and educators. I come from a family of percussionists, and I've probably been doing this now for probably, I'm 35, been doing this for about 28 years, I believe. I remember the first performance, I was about like 6 or 7, drumming with my mom and dad. But it's a blessing, I feel very privileged to be able to have these opportunities, to have learned, studied, and still learning and studying African percussion and culture. It's been a blessing to me. It's given me numerous amount of opportunities. Again, I've traveled the world performing and studying and learning. And I really want to thank the Creative Network for giving me this opportunity, okay? So today, it's like an introduction into West African drumming, okay? When the people hear West African drumming or African drumming, they just think of like bongos and just moving around and things like that. African drumming is not that. It's very spiritual. It's very communicative. It's very liberating. It's just everything, just the sounds of the drum to its people. It's uplifting, okay? So I'm gonna talk to you guys about the djembe, okay? The djembe, DJE, comes from the West Africa countries. You'll find the djembe in Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and other countries that would have been a part of the Mali kingdom hundreds of years ago. Sunjata Keita, Mansa Musa, and all those, they had the Mali kingdom, and those countries would have been all associated all under one kingdom. You have the Songhai kingdom, which more Ghana, Benin, and Nigeria were a part of. So that's why, you'll find the djembe in a lot of these, in the djembe ensemble in a lot of these different countries. So African drumming. So one thing I do want to talk to you guys is a cool story that I always, think of when I'm drumming. I'm not, anybody who knows me knows I am a twin. Me and my brother, Anthony Michell, who's a phenomenal djembe drummer, percussion artist. We've been drumming together our whole life. But we've always thought of this folktale that we were told, and it's a Nigerian Yoruba folktale, Lukumi, and it talks about how twins, which would be called Ibeji, I-B-E-J-I, defeated death, okay? So I don't want people to think of like the devil, I said death, okay? So in African culture, there's no real like devil, Satan. They don't believe that, there's a spirit or something to harm you like that. There are consequences, but there's none of that devil. But there are, there's life and death. And that's very prominent in African culture. It's like the day you're born, and then there's a day you're gonna die, okay? So with the music sense, it was a folktale, so I can just imagine, the old Baba is sitting around telling these stories, but it talks about how there were 2 twins, okay, in this village, and in this village, everyone was just passing away, and no one knew what to do. No one knew what to do. They were going to oracles, they were, just changing their lifestyles, but people just kept on passing away, okay? So one day they went to this oracle, and oracle was like, you have 2 of the same person in your village. You need to use those 2 people to help you conquer or defeat death, okay? So the people were like, well, who do we have the 2? And they were, and long time ago, twins were seen as kind of abnormality. They're like, how can this, because only animals, quote unquote, had multiple births. So a long time ago, twins would have, in certain countries of Africa, twins would not have been, you know, liked, or a lot were you know, killed, or maybe one, you know, you kept the other, but it was crazy, yeah. So in this time, twins were, you know, kind of, you know, the role seen as a little better. So they went to the twins and they said, hey, you know, as you can see, a lot of the people in the community are passing away. The oracle, being Ifa, is telling us only you can conquer this. You know? Well, how can we, you know, conquer this? So one day, the twins they're in like the bush, and they're like, okay, Iku, and that's what they would have called it, not death. It would have been called Iku. Was dancing, you know. And one of the twins comes out and he says, hey, I want to challenge you to a dance off, drum off, whatever. I bet you I can dance longer than you. If I can beat you in dancing, drumming, you must leave my village and go somewhere else. And this is Iku, you know, he's the owner of, you know, really our lives sometimes, you know. So he's like, oh, look at you, little boy. How can I not beat you? I challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to this. Okay. She's like, okay, I'll be right back. So one of the twins goes back to his brother. He says, look, man, Oracle says we can beat Iku. This is how we're going to do it. He challenged us to a dance. I'm going to go. When I get tired, you're going to come. Okay? So he comes back. Iku's like, hey, you ready? This is me. They're drumming, they're dancing, drumming and dancing, drumming. Going in. Everyone's showing their moves, they're getting in. Okay? So the twins say, okay, I'll go to the bathroom. Switches with his brother, and then the other twin comes back out. So Iku starts, you know, he's strong, but he starts to get tired. He's like, man, you're going, you know. So hours become days, and the twins are just switching back and forth. They're still going. After a while, he's like, I don't know how you keep doing this. We've been doing this for days and you're still going. You won't stop. I need a break. I can't do this. I can't drum. I can't dance. I can't dance anymore. The twins like, still going. They're still going. No, I got this. Come on, man. You give up? Yes, I give up. Yeah. So that's how the twins defeated death, was through dance and percussion. Okay, so that lets you know the power and the just strength that it gives you. All right, so I love that story, especially as being a twin. So back to the djembe. Okay, djembe. Djembe, you'll find it all over the world right now. Again, the name specifically means to bring people together, and that's exactly what it does. It brings people together. Traditionally, this drum would have been, was made by the ironmen, cast workers, and back then it was cast. So this would have been made by the iron workers, and it's made out of a single piece of wood, okay? And it's hollow inside, and it's made traditionally with goat, antelope skin, okay? And you have to like clean the skin and all that. It's a very spiritual thing, because if you think back in the day, number one, in Africa and other traditional places, you can't just cut down trees. So you would have to get the permission of your family or the elder to cut that down. And people, if they watch Roots, the dad, remember when when he's still in Africa, says, hey, you need to make a drum for your son. And that's from the same ethnic group. So Kunta Kinte's family, they would have had this drum around. Okay? So he said, you need to make a drum for your son. But first he had to go, he had to pray, okay? I've actually, in my travels, I've been to Africa. I've been to the places that get the wood for the drums, the guys that make the drums. I've been there, I've seen it all. My brother's an excellent drum maker too. He makes all the drums for the family. So I've grown up with the, you know, how to reconstruct and build them as well. So this drum would have been a form of communication, and it still is. So if you know the language, if you can speak the language, you understand some things throughout. So again, this has thousands of rhythms that can be played for different things, okay? So traditionally, if a king or someone was coming, you know, or something important, a birthday or any type of celebration that was going on in the community, you would hear these drums, okay? So you might hear. Okay, and that would be letting you know different things might have been going on in the community. It could say the king's coming, or we're having a party in this village, you guys are coming, or it's crop time. A lot of you guys, you see, if you know about African percussion, you might see videos of they have music when they're working and the people in the village, just because it gives you strength. And also there's songs and rhythms for you know, harvest time, like kasai. So it would be like, tempo's keeping up, so you're in the village. You know, got your and it's a whole row. You see, there's hundreds of people, you know, and you got the drummers, and and that's how the African people work. So, with that being said, is because this is the history is so much important sometimes than just listening to the music. And as an educator, I feel like the history is the most important part. And it's kind of, I picked this day because a few days ago was the maybe 200-300th anniversary of one of America's first and only slave revolts, okay? After that slave revolt, the English people banned the African drum. They banned it. You were no longer allowed to play anything associated with Africa, okay? In your culture, your practices, because it is said that during this revolt, they made drums and people were getting possessed, and they were just the music, they were drumming, they were playing the rhythms, and they got so powered, they got so uplifted that the colonizers, they knew, like, hey, this African drum is so special to its people. We have to ban it. We cannot let these people have this drum because it's so important to us. Okay? So that's one, and the anniversary of that was just recently. So that's one important thing about the drum in America. And that's one reason I feel is that, you know, as someone who's been to, I've been to the Caribbean, like Cuba and just other places like that, even in Brazil, their colonizers let them continue the African drumming per se, because they said, oh, it makes them work harder, or it gives them a little bit, you know, it makes them a little bit more at ease because they're still able to practice their culture. In America, we didn't have that. We were anything associated with African culture, music was taken away from us. So it wasn't really until the 1950s, maybe a little bit earlier, that Baba Olatunji had came, Baba Laji Kamara, you know, these Babas had came from the motherland, bringing this drum to us. So we went from a period of 100 to 200 years of no African drum. Okay, that's why we had to create. That's why a lot of our songs are a little bit more sad, like the blues. They started out real low tempo because we were still mourning. You know, we were still mourning the loss of our African drum. You know, if you look in places like Cuba, where there's a very strong, Yoruba, Congo, ethnic groups like that, they have, you know, the Spaniards were able to keep the drums. The Spaniards let them keep the drums. There was a time period where the drums were banned, and they'll talk about that when I get to Afro Cuba And I'll get that to my next one, so I don't want to talk about the ban of that in Afro-Cuba. But with this drum, the djembe and all types of African percussion was banned in America. So that's why a lot of African Americans, we didn't get involved into this until, you know, the late early, like 40s, 50s, and 60s, and this became a revolution. And again, the drum, I'm sure, was there. A lot of the old babas I grew up with could talk about the 70s, just playing the drum, making drums, because it was that feeling, that power that the drum does, okay? So, the djembe has 3 basic hand patterns. First one, bass. It's in the middle of the drum. Bass. Second, slap. Slurry, like you said. Slap. Second, tone. Your hands right there. So you have your bass, slap, tone, bass. And you should be able to hear the differences. So when you hear me play, you can hear. Okay? So we're gonna do a little like practice. We're gonna do bass, bass, tone, tone, slap, slap. It should sound like this. Bass, bass, tone, tone, slap. Okay? Here's how we do it. You go bass, bass, tone, tone, slap, slap. I go. Bass, bass, tone, tone, slap, slap. Bass, bass, tone, tone, slap, slap. Bass, bass, tone, tone, slap. Bass, bass, tone, tone, slap, slap. Bass, bass, tone, slap, slap. Now we're gonna just do it. Keep on going. Exercise that you can do to work on your. Again, one thing I wanted to do too is there's different types of djembes. You know, this is more of a traditional one, not show. This wouldn't be used in performances. It's more of a teaching one, practice. When I perform, we have a performance ones that you know, you do all that. This one's more where you can. This is how a djembe would have sounded traditionally. Okay, real low, not too high, so you can hear the sounds, okay? So today, I'm gonna work on a song and a rhythm called Tidiba. You guys say Tidiba? Tidiba. And Tidiba comes from the Guinea, West Africa region, from the Baga people, okay? So Tidiba, some people say Tidiba. It all depends on how you roll your tongue. T-I-R-I-B-A, Tidiba, okay? And it comes from Baga people, but Tidiba's kind of had a different stages. Okay, first it was used as like initiation dance for girls. Okay, used like a celebration. So the girls, you know. Then it kind of changed a little bit and was kind of like was used by the boat and the fishermen. Okay. And then now it's became more of like a social dance, communicative, mass dance. So there's different stages. But typically there are Tidiba drums that kind of look like a djembe, but are smaller. And one thing you know is once you travel West Africa, you kind of see how like the different even countries and the ethnic groups, you know, play the djembe. The djembe style in Mali is a little bit different than the djembe style in Guinea-Conakry, where, you know, I'm more trained I've traveled many times to Guinea-Conakry, was raised with Guinea people, so that's, you know, my background. So when I speak to you, I'm speaking off of like background from studying, you know, Senegalese and Ghanaian music. You know, which in Mali is still associated because a lot of rhythms are coming from that area. But when you deal with Guinea, the Susu people and Malinke people, because Guinea and Mali were all together. So 200 years ago, it would have been the same you know, just different ethnic groups. So the Susu people, you know, have their own, number one, Susu traditionally don't call this drum the djembe, they call it the sambai, okay, sambai. And there's another drum that goes with the djembe ensemble, which is called a sangba, and I'll show you that in the other classes. It's like it's a bass drum. It keeps the percussion you play with sticks. So you have the dundun, you have the sangba, you have the kinkini, okay? But the Susu people call this drum, they call it djembe, but traditionally we call it sangba, okay? So, and the Baga people would have been playing the tiriba drums. You see how the connection is, although it's one, each tribe had kind of, you know, their way of doing it. So tiriba. Bass, drum, slap. Bass, drum, slap. That's the beginning. Bass, drum, slap. Bass, drum, slap. Second part. First part. Second part. First part. Second part. First part, second part. So I'll put it together. Okay, so what I did at the end I did was what we call a break. In West African drumming, you don't really hear a 1, 2, 1, 2. No, there would be something that's played that you would know to start, okay? Breaks now, as African drumming has become more of a like performance, each rhythm has different breaks and things and intros that you can go into. We'll show you more and talk more as that goes on. Welcome. This is one of my youngest sons, who's also a drummer as well. Sorry about that. He loves to drum. So it would have been an intro. Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba. Second part. So, oh, actually, then we would go into the rhythm. So. So, second part, because again, this is ensemble drumming. So you would have other drummers playing with you. And the second rhythm would have been. This is probably one of the most important phrases, patterns in West African drumming is slap to slap. That's the timing. Okay, so the bass, like the bass would be played on a different drum. For tiriba, sounds a little bit like this, and this is how the rhythm builds. And the thing that a lot of people flows it, what doesn't this sound like a rhythm we heard growing up? Boom, 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 ding, boom, 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 you know? Okay, song for it. Ninio tuname wuri bunde buma yalamba kunkure mare wunduma Ninio mayala Ninio kunkure mare wunduma Ninio tuname bure wunde bama wamba kunkure mare wunduma Ninio mayala Ninio kunkure mare wunduma Ninio tuname bure wunde bama yalamba kunkure mare wunduma Ninio mayala Ninio So that is tiriba. Second one I want to teach you, because in African, especially West African, there's rhythms for everything, okay? So another one you might hear is a cuckoo. And this is another like fisherman's one, okay? A celebration, okay? Cuckoo, real quick. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba. Okay? Okay. Second part for cuckoo. Okay. Third part would be. once you start playing, there's another thing that we like to do, and there's and you're playing the first one and like a third one together. So that's just an intro to West African drumming. Next class, I'm going to have some guests with me that's going to help with just the percussion sound. I just want to give you guys a little sample introduction of intro to West African drumming, a little historic. I'm going to leave you what we call a djembe Khan. It's just like a little freestyle.